Welcome to the Walnut Speech Fair.
My Teacher's Going Crazy by Bridget Hilsky. My teacher's going crazy, I have no idea why. I think as I see a pencil zooming by. She's got no name, papers, and 20 in her class. Wally lied and said he made his own homework pass. Jimmy broke the computer and Jessie cut her hair. Billy screams out repeatedly and Maggie just won't share. Tanya tied her shoes together and Alex stepped in pie. Nancy couldn't hold it and Annie told a lie. My teacher's going crazy and I have no idea why. This is what happened when the world turned upside down. Just take a look and see how it sounds. The day when the world turned upside down, a frown became a smile, and a smile became a frown. When the mice chased the cats, and the cats chased the dogs. When the dogs laughed out loud at the pink and yellow frogs. When you went to bed at day and woke up at night. When the birds caught the school bus and the cows took flight. When the moon came out at the middle of the day and the ocean's fish rolled around in the hay. When the children ruled the world and ice cream was for free. When the elephant shrank to the size of a foot. When the grass rained lollipops up to the sky. When you wanted to laugh but could only cry. When magic means were real and giants were very small. When you ate spider legs so you could creep up the walls. This all happened when the world turned upside down. When I went to bed with a smile, not a frown.
Bradley Bentley Baxter Bloom by Ken Nesbitt. Bradley Bentley Baxter Bloom would never ever clean his room. He simply dropped things on the floor and left them there forevermore. And even if his parents yelled, complaining that his bedroom smelled, and told her, Bradley Bentley Bloom, go get a bucket and a broom and take them back and clean your room, he just refused to pick things up. So every coat or cord or cup or Christmas card or candy cane that hit the floor would just remain. Now, it only took a little while before he had a massive pile of dirty clothes and greasy plates and dust-encrusted roller skates and tattered toys and grimy games and broken bits of pictured frames and rumpled rags and rusted keys and fragments of cracked CDs and things he'd never seen before on every inch of bedroom floor. And even as the clutter grew with one more muddy, cruddy shoe or old or moldy pear plum or sloppy glob of chewing gum, or burst balloon, or flattened hat, or worn an old-out magazine, still Bradley Bloom would never clean. He didn't even seem to care, as rubbish covered up his hair, his desk, his bookcase, and his bed, and piled up higher than his head, until at last there wasn't room enough to breathe for Bradley Bloom. His parents heard him scream and shout, and tried but couldn't get him out, for all the garbage on the floor had piled up and blocked the door. And in the end, young Bradley died, and all of those who knew him cried. His parents wailed and tore their hair. His teacher wept in deep despair. His classmates sobbed, his friends all moaned, and they all whimpered, Bradley, Bradley, please come back, we miss you badly. But just like the ones who came before, like Gordon Godfrey Gustavus Gore, who never ever shut the door, or Sarah Simphrey Sylvia Stout, who would not take the garbage out, or scrawny little Tawny Skinner, who would never, ever ate his dinner. Young Bradley Bentley Baxter Bloom, who never, ever cleaned his room, unfortunately met his doom. So children, if I may assume, you do not want to meet your doom, like Bradley Bentley Baxter Bloom, then take a bucket and a broom, and please bring them back and clean your room.
Boa Constrictor by Shel Silverstein. I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor? A boa constrictor. I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor, and I don't like it one bit. What do you know? It's nibbling on my toe. Oh gee, it's up to my knee. Oh my, it's up to my thigh. Oh fiddle, it's up to my middle. Oh heck, it's up to my neck. Oh dread, it's up to my
The most twisted day in life is the day in which we have never left. Hi, my name is Charlie Shepard. Let me know my fans copy of my fashion. Although, I did grow up as an orphan. As an adult, I earned my fortunes. No one would listen to my brilliant ideas. So, after so many films, I said I don't care. From this day forward, I shall become a millionaire. Becoming my own director, I make silent films. And I took a lot of work. And with all my freedom, I really share my skills. And I make art by making people laugh, and which is very funny. And along came fame and signed autographs, and not to brag, but they say I was the greatest filmmaker in history, and they say I was the greatest comic in the world. And I always say it, life can be wonderful if you're not afraid of it. All it takes is courage, imaginations, and a little dough.
Hi, I will be doing an excerpt from Jeff Kinney's Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Hard Luck. All week, Ma's been helping me with my many homework assignments, but she says the one thing I'm going to have to do on my own is a science fair. And that kind of stinks, because science isn't exactly my strong suit. For last year's science fair, I did a project on metamorphosis. I collected a dozen or so caterpillars and put them in a box with leaves teeth, and they all made cocoons. My plan was to open the box at the exact moment they turned into butterflies and blow the judges away. I worked hard on it, and even turned in my project a day early. But I left the box with the caterpillars on the heater in the science classroom, and unfortunately, that was the end of that. Today during recess, I was in the library trying to get ideas for my science fair project when Betsy Buckles came in to say that they needed me in the yearbook office. She said the class favorite results were in, and she asked me to take pictures of the winners. I didn't bother to vote this year, so I wasn't even sure who was on the ballot. But once the winners started filing in through the door, it wasn't too hard to guess who had won what. Most of the winners were exactly who you'd expect. Bryce Anderson won Best Hair, Sleazy Ackerman won Most Talented, and Jenna Stewart won Best Dressed. The only real surprise was Liam Nelson, who won Best Looking. But Liam works on the yearbook staff and was in charge of counting up the votes, so something told me he fudged the results. When Frigley walked in through the door, I got confused. The only category I can see him winning was Class Clown, but I had just finished taking Jeffrey Lashley's picture. I looked down at the printout Betsy gave me and found out Frigley had been voted most popular. But by the way things have been going lately, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. I was already in a pretty bad mood when the last two people walked in through the door to have their picture taken. I looked down at the list Betsy gave me, and when I scanned all the way to the bottom, I felt sick. Cutest couple, Raleigh Jefferson plus Abigail Brown. I've had to do some unpleasant things in my life, but believe me, nothing compares to what I had to suffer through today. After that, I officially resigned as yearbook photographer and turned in my camera. Because really, there's only so much one person can take. Thank you.
The Nap Taker by Shel Silverstein. No, I did not take a nap. The nap took me off the bed and out the window, far beyond the sea. Two alarmless sleepyheads read only comic books and lock their naps in iron safes so they can't get took. And as soon as I came to that land, I also came to grief. The people pointed at me shouting, "Where's the nap, you thief?" They took me to the courthouse. The judge put on his cap. He said, "My child, you're on trial for taking someone's nap." Yes, all you selfish children, you think just of yourselves. You don't care if the nap you take belongs to someone else. It happens that the nap you took, without a thought or care, belongs to Bonnie Bolingbroke, sitting, crying there. She hasn't slept in quite some time. Just see her eyelids flap. She's tired and drowsy, cranky too, 'cause guess who took her nap? The jury cried, "You're guilty. Yes, you're guilty as can be. But just return the nap you took, and we might set you free." "I did not take that nap," I cried. "I give my solemn vow. And if I took it by mistake, I do not have it now." "Oh, fiddle fudge," cried out the judge. "Your record looks quite sour. Last night I see you stole a kiss. Last week you took a shower. You beat your eggs, you've whipped your cream. At work you've punched the clock. You've even killed an hour or two. We've heard you darn your socks. We know you shot a basketball. You've stolen second base. And we can see you're guilty from the sleep that's on your face. So go lie down on your blanket now and cry your guilty tears. I sentence you for one long nap for 90 million years. And when the other children see a nap that never ends, no child ever dare to take somebody's nap again."
Why English is hard to learn. Author Anonymous. We'll begin with the box. The plural is boxes. If the plural of ox is oxen, not oxes, one fowl is a goose, and two are called geese. Yet the plural of moose is never called meese. You may find a lone mouse, or a house full of mice. Yet the plural of house is houses, not heis. If the singular is this, and the plural is these, so should the plural of kiss ever be called kiss? The masculine pronouns are he, his, and him. But imagine the feminine, she, shiz, and shem.
George Washington's inaugural address of 1789 by George Washington. Fellow citizens of the Senate and the House of Representatives, among the vicissitudes incident to life, no event could have filled me with greater anxieties than of that of which the notification was transmitted by your order and received on the 14th day of the present month. On the one hand, all summoned by my country, whose voice I can never hear, both veneration and love, from a retreat which I had chosen with the fondest predilection, and in my flattering hopes, with an immutable decision, as the asylum of my declining years. A retreat which was rendered every day more necessary, as well as more dear to me, by the addition of habit to inclination, and of frequent interruptions in my health to the gradual waste committed on it by time. On the other hand, the magnitude and difficulty of the trust to which the voice of my country called me, being sufficient to awaken in the wisest and most experienced of her citizens a distrustful scrutiny into his qualifications, cannot but overwhelm with despondence. One who, inheriting inferior endowments in nature and unpracticed in the duties of civil administration, ought to be particularly conscious of his own deficiencies. In this conflict of emotions, all I dare aver is that it has been my faithful study to collect my duty from a just appreciation of every circumstance by which it might be affected. All I dare hope is that if in executing this task I have been too much swayed by grateful remembrance of former instances or by effectiveness sensibility to this transcendent proof of the confidence of my fellow citizens, and have thence too little consulted my incapacity as well as the inclination for the weighty and untried cares before me. My error will be palliated by the motives which misled me, and its consequences be judged by my country with some share of the partiality in which they originated.
John F. Kennedy. We choose to go to space. The eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon and to the planets beyond. And we have vowed that we shall see it governed by a banner of freedom and peace. The vows of this nation can only be fulfilled if we in this nation are first, and therefore we intend to be first. I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal that before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth. No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the exploration of space. We are sending one man to the moon, but in a very real sense, it will not just be one man going to the moon, it will be an entire nation. For all of us must work to put it. We We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one we are willing to accept and one which we intend to win. We set sail on this new sea because there is new knowledge to be gained and new rights to be won, and they must be won and used for the progress of all people. We set sail. Our greatest asset in this struggle is the American people. They are willing to understand and accept a long struggle and to share the resources with other less fortunate people to strengthen our society. America is willing to show friendship to students and visitors from other lands who visit us and go back, in many cases to be leaders with an image of America. I want that image, and I know you do too, to be affirmative and positive. Finally, we will lead the world in this democracy at home in all states with all races.
To be or not to be, from Hamlet by William Shakespeare. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is to err to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of deprived love, the law's delay, the insolence of office and the spurns? That patient merit of the unworthy takes what he himself might as quietus make with a bare falcon. Who would farthels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life? But that dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others we know not of. This conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment, with this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action.
Susan B. Anthony was one of the strongest advocates for women's rights in the 19th century and is a representative figure in this politically oriented types of female politics. She was arrested in 1872 for casting an illegal vote in a presidential election and was fined $100 but refused to pay. She gave this speech in 1873. Friends and fellow citizens, I stand before you tonight under indictment for committing the alleged crime of having voted in the last presidential election without having the lawful right to vote. It shall be my work this evening to prove that in thus voting, I not only committed no crime, but in fact, simply exercised my rights guaranteed to me and all United States citizens by the federal Constitution, beyond the power of any state to deny. The preamble of the federal Constitution says, "We, as the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." It was we, the people, not we, the white male citizens, nor yet we, the male citizens, but we, the whole people who formed this union. And we formed it not to give the blessings of liberty, but to secure them, not to half of ourselves and half of our prosperity, but to the whole people, women as well as men. And it is downright mockery to speak to women about their enjoyment of the blessings of liberty when they are denied the use of the only means securing them provided by this democratic Republican government, the ballot. For any state to make gender qualification that must ever result in the disfranchisement of one entire half of the people is to pass a bill of attainder, or an ex post facto law, and is therefore a violation of the supreme law of the land. By it, the blessings of liberty are forever withheld from women and their female prosperity. To them, this government has no just powers derived from the consent of the governed. To them, this government is not a democracy. It is not a republic. It is an odious aristocracy, a hateful oligarchy of gender, the most hateful aristocracy ever established on the face of this globe, an oligarchy of wealth, where the rich govern the poor, an oligarchy of learning, where the educated govern the ignorant, or even an oligarchy of race, where the Saxon governs the African might be endured. But this oligarchy of gender, which makes fathers, brothers, husbands, and sons, the oligarchies of mothers, sisters, daughters, and wives of every household, which ordains all men sovereigns and women subjects, carries dissension, discord, and rebellion into every home of the nation. Webster, Wooster, and Bouvier all defined a citizen as a person in the United States entitled to vote and hold office. The only question left to be settled now is, are women persons? And I hardly believe any of our opponents will have the hardihood to say that they're not. Being persons, then women are citizens, and no state has the right to make any law or to enforce any old law that shall abridge their privileges and immunities. Hence, every discrimination against women in the constitutions and the laws of the several states is today null and void, precisely as is everyone against Negroes. The Seed That Grew by Carly Relvis. There's a school called Walnut Elementary. It is a wonderful place full of kindness and hope. A safe place for us all to be. Walnut is not just a school, but a place where you can have thousands of friends and thousands of amazing teachers. It is a refuge for those seeking to grow infinitely. Everywhere you go, there are opportunities and activities. Music, musical, yearbook, speech fair, talent show, math blast, and science olympiad, just to name a few. For me, Walnut is a school that sparked my love of reading and drama, and it helped me to be organized and responsible. Every day is a new adventure, and I've never gone home and not appreciated at least one thing about the day, especially recess. From kindergarten all the way through 6th grade, I've had amazing experiences and met unforgettable friends and teachers who are so kind. Without the people, Walnut would not be what it is today. The teachers are always looking for ways to make learning so much fun, and they truly care about kids enjoying themselves. The campus supervisors and janitors make sure that the school is a clean and safe place for us to be. The PTO is the origin of fun activities like field trips and the Halloween carnival. Last, but definitely not least, the students are kind to each other, and we believe in trying our best. We also like to try new things and to make the world a better place. Everyone in my family goes to Walnut Elementary, and they love it as much as I do. Now that I'm in 6th grade, the seeds that they have planted in me all the way from kindergarten have started to sprout. I've learned that in math, there's always another way to find an answer, and to never give up, even when you think it's impossible. I've learned about my stage presence and to always show emotion while I'm on stage. I've learned about rewriting paragraphs over and over again until it improves, but even then, trying again until it's perfect. I've learned that in running, you have to push yourself farther than you've ever imagined possible. But if I had to list the most important thing that I've learned at Walnut, it would be to believe in myself and let my true character shine through. When I move on to middle school, I will never forget the amazing things that Walnut has done for me. Thank you to all the teachers at Walnut. You have all helped me grow in some way or another. A special thank you to Mrs. Diaz, Mrs. Phillips, Mrs. Vilhar, Mrs. Shaw, Mr. Arnold, Ms. Shaw again, and Mrs. Moran for planting that seed in me and helping it grow. Thank you.
Alphaba's Monologue by M.K. Diaz. I am Alphaba. What? What are you looking at? Okay, I know. I'm green. No, I am not seasick. Yes, I've been green ever since I was born, and I did not eat grass when I was little. People are always looking, staring. Why are you people so judgmental? This is who I am. People say I'm a rebel. I speak my mind, even if I know it will make me some enemies. I believe in equality. What if you're green? What if you're a goat like Dr. Domond? Or rich and popular, like Linda the Good? To the world, all those things matter. But to me, we are all equal and made perfect because of our imperfection. I desire discrimination to be history, to be a thing of the past. I want to change how people see things, and I want to change the ideals of the world. All I've ever wanted in life was to be accepted for who I am and what I am. But every day there's that one question that stirs people's minds. A question pointed at me that they cannot erase from their hearts. Are people born wicked, or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? And let me answer that. No, I never wanted to be wicked, or even called that. And I know in my heart I'm not. I'm just a regular girl wanting to be accepted by society and loved for being me, for being green. But the world has a mind of its own. And when your flesh isn't actual flesh, but green like mine, the sad and inevitable fact is you'd have to wake up every single day knowing that people will look down on you and discriminate against you. You don't know what is in my heart. All you see is a screen exterior, and I hate people for having closed minds and narrow hearts. I'm human too, can't you see? I have feelings like you. I cry when I'm sad. I laugh when I think things are funny. I'm just like you, can't you see? But obviously no one notices. No matter how hard I try to be normal, I know I'm special, and people take that differently. And it breaks my heart every time I try to do good, because all you see is bad. And not because you see what is in my heart, but because you see I'm green. All I wanted was to help and not hurt the animals, but that day changed my life. And here I am now, seen by all as a wicked person. Nothing more. Glinda and Firo, the two people in life closest to my heart, besides my sister, of course. Glinda, though we started off on the wrong foot, she became my best friend. Can you imagine being so different from a person, but yet be accepted for who you are? I didn't have to hide anything from Glinda. It seems so fresh and alive in my mind, like it was only yesterday we were students in Shiz. And sometimes I feel sad, not knowing where she is now, how she is now. Wherever they are, I hope they're happy and well. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. Now don't get your hopes up. I am still who I am. The stares are still piercing every time I show myself in public. But you know how people are. They will always be judgmental and discriminating. Today, I know the world hates me. Tomorrow, I know they will fear me. I am as ever shining like a green emerald. I am full of love in my heart, but I cannot change the views of the world. And because my friend Glinda the Good gives hope to the people of Oz, I must do my part and give bloom and mirk into their lives, even though it is not truly in my heart to do so. Despite how the world sees us, Glinda is my best friend and helped me change for good. And because of her friendship and acceptance, I can say I've been truly freed from all the bad stares and judgment of the world. I am Alphabet, the wicked witch of the West, and today I am soaring high. I am defying gravity, letting it go, because I am free.
When I Am Free by Sarah. As swift as an eagle in the open air, as graceful as a Mustang running past. Everyone wishes they could be as free as me. The wind blows through my hair. My bare feet pound the barren land. Under the trees, under the stars, here I am free. Running through an open field, splashing in a stream, sleeping beneath the endless stars. In this extraordinary place, I am free. The day ends. A new one begins. Life goes on in the world around me. But what they do, I don't care, for I am free. Leaves change. It grows colder. Back to the city. School. Shoes required. I sit and wait for it to warm, so I can be free. Another year older. To the country. Once again. Bare feet in happy times. When I am free. Seasons change. Years fly past. Days of bare feet fall behind. I long for the time when I was free. My thoughts often return to that magical time where everything I did, everywhere I went, I was free. When I had no responsibilities, nothing to worry about. I was just free.
Albert Einstein once said that everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, on trial today, we have modern-day schooling. Glad you could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but he also makes them climb back down and do a 10-mile run. Now tell me, school, are you proud of the things that you've done? Turning millions into robots, do you think that that is fun? Do you realize how many children can relate to that fish? Swimming upstream in class, thinking that they are stupid, believing that they are useless? Well, the time has come, no more excuses. I'm calling school to the stand and accusing him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He is an ancient institution that has outlived his usage, so Your Honor. This concludes my opening statement, and if I may present to you my case, I will prove it. Exhibit A. Just think of a modern-day phone. And now think of a phone of 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Now, stay with me. Think of a car of today. And now think of a car of 150 years ago. Very big difference, right? Now, get this. Just think of a classroom of today. And now think of a classroom of 150 years ago. Now, isn't that a shame? In literally over a century, absolutely nothing has changed. And yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future? Or do you prepare students for the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories. This explains why you put them into little rows, nice and neat, tell them raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. And have them compete to get an A letter that determines product quality, hence grade A of meat. I get it. We all have a past. I myself am no saint. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. If you ask any scientist, they will tell you that no two brains are the same. Even a parent with 2 or more children can confirm that claim. So please explain to me why you treat your students like cookie cutter frames and snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all stuff. But if a doctor prescribed the same exact medication to all of his patients, then the results would be catastrophic. So many people would get sick. And when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens. The educational malpractice of a teacher standing in front of 20 or more students, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and yet you're teaching them the same thing the same way? That is horrific. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses to ever be committed. And not to mention the way that you treat your employees. It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, and yet they are grossly underpaid. It's no wonder why so many children go shortchanged. Let's be honest. A doctor and a teacher should have the same wage, because a doctor can perform heart surgery and save a child's life, but a teacher can touch that child's heart and make that life worth living. Teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they are not the problem. The problem is the flawed system with not many rights or options. The curriculums are created by policymakers who haven't even taught a day in their life. They're just obsessed with standardized tests, thinking that bubbling in a multiple choice question determines success. Well, that is false and that is outlandish, because these tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned. But do not take my word for it. Take the word of Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented multiple choice testing. He said, and I quote, "These tests are too crude to be used and should be abandoned, ladies and gentlemen of the jury." If we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I do not have much faith in school, but I have faith in people. And if we can customize health care, car insurance, and Facebook pages, then we should be able to customize our school system to change, upgrade, and do away with school spirit, because that is useless unless we are willing to take the spirit out of each and every student and put it to good use. No more Common Core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart and every class. Sure, math is important, but no more important than history, music, or even dance. Let's give every single gift an equal chance. I know that this sounds like a dream, but places like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days, teachers actually make a decent wage, homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition for an A. Singapore is succeeding rapidly. Schools like Montessori, programs like even Khan Academy, there is no single solution. But let's get moving. Because while students maybe want 10% of our population, they sure are 100% of our future. And if we can attend to their dreams, then there is no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe, a world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I rest my case.
Hello, my name is Jewel, and today I'll be reciting a poem by Katie Ann about the destruction of our world and global warming.
We are killing the earth, and that's really fun. No one believes us because we are young. Our forests are turning to ash in a second. Ask California. They'll tell you about it. They'll tell you how they have lost all their homes. Global warming's an expensive little hoax. For the last time, this is not a joke. Our factories are working, the toxins are emitting, the ozone is crumbling, and we won't stop putting chemicals in what we're trying to breathe. Our future is stolen, and we are the thieves. Sea levels are rising, and icebergs are melting. The coral reefs are dying, and no one is helping. Do you realize we kept the oceans alive? This started back in 1985. Don't come to me when your child can't think of what a tiger is because they're extinct. Don't cry to me when your fur coat ain't clean. The endangered species list is now 41,416. But it's not too late. We can still make a change. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Today we bring you the epic but tragic story of Miss Sarah Stout. It is a cautionary account of the dreadful consequences facing every one of us when we fail to do one of the most basic chores around the house, taking the trash out. So lend us your ears and listen to our tale of woe. Learn the truth she discovered too late and avoid the fate of one Sarah Stout as we present to you Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout Would Not Take the Garbage Out by Shel Silverstein. Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out. She'd scour the pots and scrape the pans, candy the yams and spice the hams. And though her daddy would scream and shout, she simply would not take the garbage out. And so it piled up to the ceilings. Coffee grounds, potato peelings, brown bananas, rotten peas, chunks of sour cottage cheese. It filled the can, it covered the floor, it cracked the window and blocked the door with bacon rinds and chicken bones, drippy ends of ice cream cones, prune pits, peach pits, orange peel, gloopy clumps of cold oatmeal, peaks of crust and withered greens, soggy beans and tangerines, crusts of black burnt buttered toast, gristly bits of beefy roasts. The garbage rolled down the hall, it raised the roof, it broke the wall. Greasy napkins, cookie crumbs, globs of gooey bubble gum, cellophane from green bologna, rubbery, blubbery macaroni, peanut butter, caked and dry, curdled milk and crusted pie, moldy melons, dried up mustard, eggshells mixed with lemon custard, cold french fries and rancid meat, yellow lumps of cream of wheat. At last, the garbage reached so high that it finally touched the sky, and all the neighbors moved away, and none of her friends would come to play. And finally, Sarah Cynthia Stout said, "Okay, I'll take the garbage out." But then, of course, it was too late. The garbage reached across the state from New York to the Golden Gate. And there in the garbage she did hate. Poor Sarah met an awful fate that I cannot now relate because the hour is much too late. But children, remember Sarah Stout and always take the garbage out.
Chilada Lot by Jack Prelutsky. That's right, you heard me. First name, Chilada.
Last name, Lot. Chilada Lot was never warm, no matter what she wore. She put on 7 sweaters and be colder than before. In the middle of the summer, on a day extremely hot, everyone was sweltering except Chilada Lot.
The temperature was 99. The sun blazed overhead. Her teeth began to chatter. Her nose glowed cherry red. The thermometer kept rising. Soon it was 102. Her knees would not stop knocking. Her face turned an icy blue.
She added scarves and coats and hats. She wrapped herself in fur. But nothing that Charlotta did was any help to her. She slipped on extra mittens at 112 degrees, yet started sprouting icicles and seemed about to freeze.
Charlotta then built a fire in the 122-degree heat. But things only got worse for her as she turned into a frozen tree.
As people walked by, they could not believe the sight. The shivering pile of clothing gave them such a fright.
The temperature was soaring. It hit 125. That's when Charlotta turned so pale. It was clear she cannot long survive. Charlotta froze solid at 128. She's now a statue in the park, and she guards the entrance gate.
Do you like peanut butter sandwiches?
Well, I do.
Same. Anyways, I want to tell you a story of a very young king who absolutely loved peanut butter sandwiches. Peanut butter sandwich.
By Shel Silverstein.
We'll tell you a story of a silly young king who played with the world at an end of a string, but he only loved one single thing, and that was a peanut butter sandwich.
His staff and his royal gowns, his regal throne and golden crowns were brown and sticky from the mounds and drippings from each peanut butter sandwich.
His subjects all were royal fools, for he had passed a royal rule that all you could learn in school was how to make a peanut butter sandwich.
He would not eat his sovereign steak. He scorned his soup and kingly cake and told his courtly cook to bake an extra sticky peanut butter sandwich.
And then one day he took a bite and started chewing with delight, but found his mouth was stuck quite tight from that last bite of peanut butter sandwich.
His brother pulled.
His sister pried.
The wizard pushed. His mother cried.
My
boy's committed suicide from eating his last peanut butter sandwich.
The dentist came, the royal doc. The royal plumber banged and knocked, but still those jaws stayed tightly locked. Oh, darn that sticky peanut butter sandwich.
The carpenter tried with pliers. The telephone man tried with wires. The firemen, they tried with fire, but couldn't melt that peanut butter sandwich.
They tried with drills and coil. They even tried with lubricating oil. For 20 years of tears and toil, they fought that awful peanut butter sandwich.
Then all his royal subjects came. They hooked his jaws with grappling chains and pulled both ways with might and main against that stubborn peanut butter sandwich.
Every man and woman, girl and boy dropped their plows, pots, and toys and pulled until crack of joy they broke right through that peanut butter sandwich.
A puff of dust, a screech, a squeak. The king's jaws opened with a creak, and then in voice so faint and weak, the first words that they heard him speak were, "How about a peanut butter sandwich?"
So now do you guys like peanut butter sandwiches?
What? Still now?
Well, we like peanut butter sandwiches, and that's it.
Captain Hook by Shel Silverstein. Captain Hook must remember not to scratch his toes. Captain Hook must watch out and never pick his nose. Captain Hook must be gentle when he shakes your hand. Captain Hook must be careful opening sardine cans and playing tag and pouring tea and turning pages of his book. Lots of folks I'm glad I ain't, but mostly Captain Hook. In honor of this year's musical.
God Made a Farmer by Paul Henry.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
God
said, I need somebody to wake up before dawn, milk the cows, work all day in the field, milk the cows again, eat supper, then go to town and work at a meeting for the school board. So God made a farmer.
I need somebody with strong arms, strong enough to wrestle a calf, yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to call hogs, take cantankerous machineries, and come home and have to wait for lunch until his wife is done feeding and visiting with the ladies, and telling them to be sure to come back real soon, and mean it. So God made a farmer.
Oh, the places we've been. Written by us. Based on Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. With a walnut twist. Congratulations! Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. Our parents looked over the options, looked them over with care. It's Walnut, they said. You're going there. There's no place like Walnut, they said. Each day starts off with a sense of community. Morning opening ends with exercise, which will build your immunity. To the lottery we went. Would our names be picked? Yes, we are in. Dynamos arrays, we'll see what will stick. VPA kids we were destined to be. Art and acting came natural to you and me. In kindergarten we learned how to read and made friends too. Our teachers told us the big playground is no place for you. Through the fenced yard, we wonder what could be. Would we ever become like the great role models we see? So many kids and teachers to admire. Could that be us one day? We could only aspire. Our teachers taught us so much more than right from wrong. They developed our character to be so strong.
In first grade, we learned to add and subtract. Fact, families, and number bonds were all that. American symbols were what we wanted to be, the bald eagle or the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, the places we've been. Do you like gingerbread? Yes, you do. Is it because in second grade we made it for you? With math, art, and a little fun, our gingerbread village was finally done. Electives came too. So many great choices. Photography, art, or a chance to work on our voices.
In third grade, cursive and multiplication were big parts of our day. The Grinch play, of course, was spectacular, they say.
As our math started to become more complicated, we didn't learn it this way, our parents stated. Oh, the places we've been. In fourth grade, through California we walked. Our musical Aladdin Jr. really rocked. Our field trip to Mission San Juan Bautista was next.
And some of us learned the hard way that we weren't allowed to text. In fifth grade, Mrs. Lee marched us in rows. Whenever she called a command, we instantly froze.
Though running the mile got us real fit, all we really wanted to do was sit. She knew what was best for us, as teachers do, you know. Like how we learned the capital of Alaska is Juneau? Independent thinkers we were learning to be. Everyone has a different perspective we were starting to see. Mrs. Silvera, you are teaching us to collaborate, giving us freedom to listen and speak. At sixth grade camp, you made us swim in a creek.
You give us space to be creative, free from technology and our phones. We love it when you speak at opening about parents staying in their zones.
Oh, the places we've been. Can it really be true? Has it been 6+ years? We may not get out of here without shedding a few tears. Once market day and the Olympics are done, all we can say is Walnut really is number one. But wait, our journey's not over. Will there be challenges ahead? Yes, it's so. But Walnut's prepared us incredibly, though. Oh, the places we'll go. We learned about life and other things, too. And through it all, we discovered just what to do. To all of our teachers, you know who you are. We'll never forget you, whether near or far. Keep doing what you love. Do with all your might. You're making a difference. It's working. Look at us. We're taking flight. Oh, the places we'll go. We won't stray too far. We'll be back to visit with you, and are hopeful that each new crop of kinder friends can look at us as role models too. And will we succeed? Yes, we will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Now, a message to all of Walnut. Here's what we know. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know. And you are the one who'll decide where to go. You're